Hi, and welcome to the third episode of the Nerdflash podcast. Today is Friday, so today is our longer podcast. Today we'll be talking about the DC animated universe. As always, I'm Tyler, and I'm joined by Xavier Thorne and
Hey,
special
everybody.
guest Orwa Usopp.
Hello, glad to be here.
Also,
And Tim's not here because he fucking passed out on us.
yep. So
We should not have taken that sizable break after recording the Escapist video.
yeah. So
Well,
also,
it is late. Cut him some slack.
yeah.
Yeah, but like I already said before, and I think it might have actually been Scott's video that we were in, that usually we'll record Escapists, then right away after that's done, we'll go right into the podcast. But we decided to take a break this time, and, well, we won't be doing that again.
No, but don't forget to check out Orwa Usopp's channel. Link will be in the description, as well as for Xavier.
Search for the word Babel play. I'm the only one who calls my playthroughs that.
Yeah, and so let's talk about Batman Beyond. What'd you guys think of the show as a whole?
I want to start off by saying I owe the people who made Batman Beyond pretty much a big apology. But, because I kind of trashed it before it even came out and before I even saw it. It turned out awesome, but you can't really blame me. Just look at it from this point of view. Okay, it's like Batman, but like set 50 or 60 years in the future, and Batman isn't Bruce Wayne anymore because he's an old man. No, now it's some punk kid no one's ever heard of. And no, that show could have been so wrong.
Luckily, it turned out as good as it did.
And yet it turned out so right.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I haven't seen it since it was aired in the 90s. We did already mention we all plan on marathoning it, but we haven't gotten to it. Not yet.
That might be a problem for me. I own it on DVD.
All right. I thought it was a pretty damn good show.
Oh yeah, I loved that show. I remember growing up watching it every Saturday. It was one of the few shows that I looked forward to on Saturday mornings, other than Batman.
I liked it so much better than its spin-off.
Zeta? Or the Zeta Project?
Yeah, correct.
I don't remember.
But which wasn't bad, but seriously, just the two shows, the art style difference and tone was so different it didn't feel like the same universe. Zeta was so colorful. Not to mention Zeta managed to grow a head in between his appearance on Batman Beyond and his own show. They never called attention to that, but if you'll remember in the original Batman Beyond episode with Zeta, he had this weird little, just fan shape for a head. And then in his own series, he had a normal robot head with a mouth and eyes and everything.
That's just bad continuity.
Oh, yeah.
Or just straight up terrible design, and then they're just all like, we should fix that.
Well, the original Zeta had no expression. He was no expression / he was expressive. Was not very expressive. They had to give him a face so he could have reactions to things.
So it was just bad character design. Good to know.
Yes, they weren't expecting him to become a recurring character. Who was your favorite Batman Beyond villain?
Oh, that's a good one.
Kind of hard for me to answer because, haven't seen it since the 90s.
I know that answer right off the top of my head. By a long shot, my favorite. He was never a major villain. He showed up a lot, but he was never the villain of the whole shebang, and that was Mad Stan.
Oh, I love him.
The crazy lunatic with all the explosives who was always going on anti-government rants.
Oh yeah, I
Sure,
loved him.
sounds fun.
What was the one guy? He had the eyeball in his hand. His thing was
crap.
hypnosis.
Yeah. Orange costume with a black swirl.
Yeah,
on it.
him. I don't remember his name. I know Kevin Smith used him there. No, was it? I don't remember. I remember he appeared in the comics as well. I don't know. I don't remember when though. I remember seeing it somewhere. But him, that guy.
Yes.
Any fond memories
No idea.
of the show?
Well, I enjoyed it. I don't know if I have any uniquely...
I'd say enjoying it counts as fond memories.
Yes. I don't have any anecdotes about how much I enjoyed the show.
There's only one really memory I have of actually sitting down and watching it. I believe I was sitting down with it with my cousin Matt. Not the one you know, Xavier, different one. But we were sitting down and watching it, and I don't remember what else. I think I enjoyed it and asked him a bunch of questions about what the hell was going on. And then
Why the hell do you have so many cousins named Matt?
Well, I'll explain it later.
I have a brother named Matt.
and there's only two that I know.
What was
of.
that slang term they always used on the show? Shui.
Yeah, that's it.
And unshui.
There was also slagged, I think.
Slagged, yes.
Was there any others?
Not that I can think of.
Or at least none that became recurring.
To backpedal for a minute, I just actually remembered something. One thing I particularly liked for villains was the splicers.
Oh yeah, especially
I enjoyed those.
Chimera.
Those were my favorite.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they were so cool. I think my second favorite fond memory would have been when I seen what was it? Return of the Joker movie. I loved that movie.
Oh, that was awesome. Yeah. I got a hold of the unedited copy.
I think I know the first release I believe was the unedited version, and then they very quickly pulled that back and
yes.
One out.
Okay, here's a question. Might be a little harder. Do you have a least favorite episode?
Well, again, haven't seen it since the '90s. Don't know episode names.
I do.
So, all right.
Couldn't tell you. Maybe I'll get back to you after we watch it.
I recently, as in a few months ago, rewatched all the Batman Beyond episodes, but there was only one that I just could not sit there and ended up skipping. And that was the one with the rat-faced guy who could talk to rats.
Yeah, I didn't like that one either.
It was just kind of lackluster. The other one I did not like, but I ended up rewatching it anyway when I did my marathon, was Terry's Friend Dates a Robot, where the chunky, geeky kid basically builds a love droid, buys or builds a love droid, and it goes nuts.
Oh, right. I remember that one. My favorite episode is the Egg Baby episode.
Oh, yeah. With that big, fat crime boss lady.
Yeah, I didn't care about that. I just liked watching Terry interact with the egg. That was the best part.
Yes.
We actually mentioned that in the last podcast. So,
yeah.
It's the title of it, Egg Babies and Desks.
Yeah. Yeah, we got off topic.
That happens.
Oh, it was so bad.
Pretty much almost every DC animated universe offering was strong. But also not every DC series has been quote-unquote DCAU.
Yeah.
Like, I never even gave Beware the Batman a try. The weird CGI one.
Yeah, I didn't even know. As soon as I heard it was CGI, I was just like, no, I'm good. I prefer Batman.
It's not that it was CGI, it was that it was cheap, crappy CGI.
Yeah. I also prefer my Batman to be 2D, so...
Yes.
I think it just works as a...
That's what we're all used to.
Yeah, that might be part of it, but it's just... I'm so used to cartoons being in the flat dimension, not 3D. It just looks weird. Because they never have good enough budgets to go with
some of them. Some shows
CG.
pull it off all right.
Some shows do.
What about the Batman?
The 2006 one, right?
I don't know years, but that sounds about right.
2006 one. I have it on
I don't
DVD.
think I saw many episodes of that.
The one where the Joker looked like a crossbreed, looked like the love child of the original Joker and Sabretooth from Marvel.
Yes, yeah, definitely think I saw some of that.
Yeah, I loved that one. I liked that Joker. He was kind of weird at times, but I liked him.
Did you ever see the movie they made for that one?
They made a movie?
Batman versus Dracula? I'm not kidding.
I don't think I've seen it.
Somehow they don't explain how, but somehow Dracula's coffin winds up in a graveyard in Gotham City.
Not the first time Batman's fought Dracula.
Yeah, the best part of it was, I think, the fact that the Penguin got hypnotized and turned into his Weasley little Renfield.
That's hilarious.
Yes. And then am I allowed to spoil?
Yeah, go ahead.
The last scene is pretty awesome when Batman traps him in the sunlight, and the only thing keeping him from burning to a crisp is Batman's outline shadow. And Dracula screams out, "You can't kill me, you don't kill!" And Batman just says, "You're already dead," and grapples out of the way, allowing the sunlight to consume him to dust.
That's awesome. That's about as I was gonna say it's about as cool as when he broke someone's neck in Detectives Comics number 38, I think.
Batman broke somebody's neck?
Yeah, in his first 5 appearances.
He would also shoot people.
He had a gun in his original appearances. Yeah. I know that much.
He would shoot people. It was good times.
Is my encyclopedia on my desk?
Enough about your desk.
I have a Batman encyclopedia. Fuck it. I think it is I know it's between Detectives Comics 37 and I think 42. He killed people.
Could be worse. It could be the DC Dictionary, and that's just terrible. We've been giving Batman pretty much the whole soul spotlight so far, but we would be pretty much remiss if we went over Batman without talking about Batman the Animated Series.
Oh, I love that show. I have all that on DVD as well.
I think somebody's a fan.
I don't know. Maybe. I have almost every animated version, almost every movie except for the 1960s one and the 1943 serial. And I have a Batman encyclopedia, so maybe.
Yeah,
maybe just a little bit.
It's like someone's trying to get in Batman's pants, but in my opinion.
Possibly, maybe. Not
But
doing
yes.
anything.
Batman, the animated series, was a truly great show all the way through.
Also, for people who
The
don't know.
The last season made some questionable art changes, but you know what? I still liked it.
Oh yeah, it was a weird shift. But not many people know this. Harley Quinn was actually created specifically for the show by Paul Dini and Bruce Timm. I always get the names backwards.
And then bled over into the comics.
Yeah.
I knew
Yeah,
that.
Tyler likes to say Tim Bruce because he's back asswards.
Yes. All right.
That was one creation from a TV show that went into the comics that I didn't care too much about because it was so cool.
Right.
And apparently, our friend Scott has officially become a YouTube partner now, so...
Can you name the other character invented by the TV series that made it into the Batman comics proper? I'll give you a hint. She's a cop.
Oh, crap.
Renee Montoya.
Yeah, her. Couldn't remember her name. The only name
I was
could
just
think
gonna
of
say
was
the
Barbara
person
Gordon.
like only that. So.
And I don't care if he was a slob. I really loved. Oh God, I knew his name a second ago. The fat loudmouth cop.
Harvey Bullock.
Bullock. All I could think of was Roland Daggett, and that was a crime boss. Yeah, but
Yeah,
Harvey Bullock was awesome.
Oh yeah, he's one of my favorites.
And my favorite out of the original Batman animated series Rogues Gallery had to be Clayface.
Which was the Clayface in that one again?
Hagen.
Right. Okay. My favorite was probably Mr. Freeze. Actually, no. Joker and Freeze. Freeze because it was just always sort of. It was always pushed by the love for his wife, which I always thought was pretty cool. It gave him this weird depth.
Previous to Batman the animated series, he was just a jerk with a freeze gun.
Yep.
The animated series actually gave him a backstory that was identifiable, and even the crappy Schumacher movie went with that backstory.
Yep. He's actually apologized for that movie recently.
Good for him.
He and who played Batman in that again? George Clooney.
Don't care.
They both apologized for it at Comic-Con, I think it was this year, last year.
Now if we can get Shyamalan to apologize for Avatar, we'll be just fine.
I don't think we're getting that.
All right. Although I will say this in his defense, he did not give a rat's ass about making the Avatar movie. In fact, he was going to turn it down, but his daughter, who loved the show very much, begged him to accept it, so he did. So if nothing else good can be said about that movie, it was a labor of love for his daughter. Too bad he didn't really
hates him.
Yes.
It's whether you don't give in to your begging kids.
We've given Batman the spotlight for a while, but do you think it's time to move on and talk about the Superman animated series?
Oh, sure. That works.
I loved their take on the Toyman. He genuinely creeped me out with that grinning mask of his.
It's been a while since I've seen that show. I'm trying to remember what Toyman was.
Wore the big bobblehead doll mask that made him look like a walking doll. It had this big creepy smile on it all the time.
I vaguely remember it. I think it gave me nightmares when I was a kid.
Yeah, I don't remember any of it. Then again, shows from childhood.
Last time I watched it was, I think, about 3 years ago. Something I need to watch again. I was looking into buying it on DVD. My favorite, though, is when Batman crossed over. Those are always good episodes.
Oh, yeah. Always. Well, if you guys don't remember Superman, we can't really focus on that very much.
Nope.
What came next? Justice League?
I remember that one, for the most part.
Oh, yeah.
That
one wasn't too long ago, really.
I think it only ended about 4 years ago, I think, when it finally came off TV, so...
My favorite episode of that would have to be Comfort and Joy, the Christmas episode, which was a series of vignettes with Green Lantern and Hawkgirl celebrating on another planet, Superman bringing Martian Manhunter home to meet his parents for Christmas, and there was a third, but for the life of me, I don't remember what it was.
I'm kind of curious about how Martian Manhunter got to see his parents, considering they're all kind of dead.
Superman brought Martian Manhunter home to meet his Superman's parents, Ma and Pa. Yeah.
Ah, okay. I was about to say, but his parents are dead too.
Krypton is kind of gone.
Martian Manhunter had no family and no one to spend the holiday with, so Superman, the big blue Boy Scout who doesn't like to see anybody left out on the holidays, brought Martian Manhunter home to his where did he live?
Smallville, Kansas.
Smallville home to meet his family and have someone to spend the season with.
That's a pretty cool thing. What's the episode I liked? I can't remember the name of it for the life of me.
My other favorite was Child's Play, where Morgan Le Fay got rid of all the adults, in the world, leaving a world of children. So, and then her bratty little son banished her. So to strike back at him, she turned the Justice League into kids so they could return to the real world.
That was the episode I was thinking of. I loved that one. That one was so good.
Oh yeah.
I don't remember if it was Justice League, but I remember there was also a show that had, was it Justice League? I think it was DC Animated Universe anyways. It had some guy who was immortal and just kept aging more and more rapidly. And I don't remember why.
That was what happened to Mordred at the end of that episode I was just talking about.
Right. Alright. I couldn't remember. I thought it was an entirely different episode. When you watch things when you binge watch things, it all kind of blends together, and then you forget where things start and stop. So
after Justice League was... Go ahead.
Oh, you can go. You can finish first.
I was going to say, after Justice League was Justice League Unlimited, which just expanded the roster by a ridiculous amount.
Oh god, I know. Instead of it being, was it originally 6?
Yes.
6 or 7, and then it became like 30-something. It was ridiculous. Then again, the real Justice League is just as bad. One thing I wish they would have done, because it had already happened at that point, was they brought in Martian Manhunter's cookie addiction.
Yes, Chocos.
Yep.
Because they couldn't say Oreos in the comics.
Yep.
Alright.
Well, personally, my favorite thing with the Justice League, I don't remember episode names or anything, so that's not a problem here, is the movie Doom, where all of Batman's contingency plans get stolen and put into effect.
By Ra's al Ghul in the comics, and then they changed it for no explained reason to being stolen by Vandal Savage in the movie. Vandal Savage doesn't even know Batman's secret identity.
I did do research one time and found out how many people over the entire course of Batman had found out who Batman was, and I think it was like 176 people.
Oh, that reminds me of one episode I'm surprised they got away with on television. This was of the Superman animated series. The one where Clark Kent supposedly died in a car accident, in a car bombing, and he almost lost his secret identity. Do you remember that one?
Very, very, very vaguely.
Turns out the crooked cop who ended up actually committing actually committed the murder was actually sentenced to death. They showed him on the show in the gas chamber, and in his last moments he was going, "How did he survive? There's no way. Wait a minute. He's Superman," he says, just as you hear the hiss of the gas turning on, and the episode ends.
Wow.
Oh, man. I can't believe they got away with that on TV in the 90s.
I can't either.
You'd think that's crossing some line.
Even today, that might be pushing it.
Oh, yeah.
Today, that would probably get cut off. It probably wouldn't even make air.
While not as huge and hugely remembered as any of the Batman series is, or as famously awesome and epic as Justice League, I would like to say I really enjoyed Static Shock.
Oh,
yeah.
Yes. I loved that show. I loved watching it on your cartoon streams you did a long time ago.
Yes.
You still do those?
Nah. This stupid computer doesn't have enough room for a backlog of shows. I'm getting a new computer soon, though, and I might pick that back up.
Ooh.
I already know what I want to show first thing.
What?
SWAT Cats. Which has nothing to do with DC Universe, but I love SWAT Cats.
I never got to watch it when I was a kid.
Bummer. Had a great theme song.
Name sounds familiar. I may have seen it at one point.
I remember there was some show to do with... Nope. I think it's Street Sharks.
But Static Shock for me, growing up as a kid who grew up in basically backwoods, middle of nowhere, yeehaw, middle of Texas, get her done. I did not have much of a chance to experience the urban lifestyle, and seeing Static grow up in a gang-riddled, troubled city. You know what? I'm kind of glad I didn't.
I've lived in some places like that. I mean, I've lived in 2 different places where my neighbor's been firebombed, so I kind of wish I lived out in the county, because you don't have your neighbor's house randomly being set on fire at 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
No kidding.
2 o'clock in the morning. Or being threatened to be shot in the face with a 44.
Yeah, well, to be fair, you did live in the ghetto.
Yeah, but...
How is that fair? That's like saying, well, you lived in the ghetto, so you deserved it. But Static didn't actually live in a ghetto. He lived in a nice neighborhood, but he fought in the ghetto.
I don't know, my to be fair is, I had the wording just a minute ago. Basically, describing everything that has happened was just as the status quo for where he was. it was normal for him.
When I moved into the place I'm living in now, it's really weird because it's a pretty nice neighborhood beside a university, so it's always very quiet. And I'm used to hearing sirens and cars go flying by at like 80 miles an hour. Just people fucking around, and it's so quiet now, and it's kind of bothersome. Especially the one night when I went outside and there was like 2 o'clock in the morning and someone was digging. That'll screw with you. So, you guys got any favorite DC animated movie?
I already said mine.
Yeah, you already said yours, but
I have it. I actually like the Superman Shazam one, which was actually which was actually a collection of 3 stories. One with Superman and Shazam, one with the awesome Jonah Hex, and one with the Spectre.
Spectre sounds familiar. What is his name?
Guy in Spirit of Vengeance, Green Hood, has undefined super, near limitless power as long as it has to do with getting revenge. Once turned a guy into cheese, and then let loose all the rats in his lab.
Oh, that sounds amazing.
Whenever I think of Green Hood, I immediately jump to 2 characters. One from Marvel, Doctor Doom, and Ragman.
Well, in this movie special, the Spirit of Vengeance goes after some bad guy, some killer in Hollywood, and the guy tries to escape into a set where they were storing all these horror props, and the Spectre brings them all to life to hunt him down.
Oh God, that sounds amazing, though.
Oh yeah,
terrifying, but amazing.
As long as there's no clowns. I don't like clowns.
I don't recall clowns.
Tyler's best friend is Pennywise.
Oh God, no. It's weird though that I have such a phobia of clowns, but yet I like the Joker.
Even Krusty the Clown?
He doesn't bother me. I think it's just because he looks so stupid. Or maybe it's because he's just an overweight clown in a pink shirt. It is pink, right? Or is it purple? I think it's purple.
Yeah, I think it's pink, purple, one of those.
Yeah, one of them shades.
Or somewhere in the middle. One of the 2. Anyways, my favorite DC animated movie. Back to Batman. Under the Red Hood.
You know who else? Just a random piece of trivia. You know who else is afraid of clowns?
My girlfriend?
You ever see a series called The Littlest Hobo?
No.
I don't know why, but I know the guy who created that is afraid of clowns.
Littlest Hobo. Isn't that a show about a dog?
I'm not 100% sure. It was a Canadian children's show.
Yeah, I think it's a show about a... Why am I asking an American?
Confirmed. It's a Canadian show. Tyler knows everything about it. Explain.
If I remember correctly, it's a show about a German Shepherd.
Yes, I think so.
People. Anyways, but yeah, the Under the Red Hood, the opening is just so amazing.
Is the opening where Joker beats the hell out of Robin with a crowbar?
Yes.
What hurts more, forehand or backhand?
Yeah, that's exactly what I was talking about. My second favorite scene is actually at the end of the thing where he's got, where, spoilers, the Red Hood, Jason Todd, has Batman and Joker in a room filled with bombs. And Joker just responds with, "You gotta give the kid props. He came back from the dead to make this shindig happen."
Under the Red Hood is really well done.
Oh yeah, it's so amazing. It's one of the few where you can watch it over and over and it doesn't lose its charm.
Speaking of DC movies, I've got one I haven't seen. I actually got it from Netflix a few days ago and I haven't watched it yet. And that's the Wonder Woman movie.
That's right, she got one. I don't care enough about Wonder Woman to watch it. I don't like Wonder Woman that much. I just find her comics boring. And I've never really liked her character. She just always seems so bland.
I don't know. It's kind of hard not to like a woman who was created in an era when violence against women in the media was strictly frowned upon, so she couldn't get her ass kicked, so she would always get tied up.
Yep.
But all joking aside, you should give Wonder Woman a chance.
Can't beat her up, so let's all promote BDSM.
That's always a fun way to do it.
You know, that's completely appropriate alternative. Especially for that time period.
I think we're running out of DC shows.
Yep, for the most part, which is why...
Oh, wait a minute. I know one that we have to mention just because it existed and was fairly influential, even if it was never very good. Super Friends!
Oh, God.
Meanwhile... Oh, what was their headquarters?
The Hall of Justice.
Yes. Meanwhile, at the Hall of Justice, everyone's bored.
Oh god, I only seen like one episode, and it was years ago.
Okay, my earliest childhood was watching the original run of Super Friends. I was like 3 or 4, and I don't care what anyone says about the quality of the show, or the writing, or the crappy characters, or the where was I going with this? No, I don't care what anyone says about all that. It got me interested in the DC heroes. It got me curious about these things. You know what? It was much worse than a Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends, which aired about the same time, which teamed up Spider-Man with Iceman, the X-Men Iceman, and a made-up fire-shooting hero girl called Firestar. Well, they're all made up. They're all comic characters, but made up for the show.
Oh gosh, Firestar? That's not a blatant ripoff. Was Starfire a thing yet?
Yeah, Teen Titans have been around since the 60s.
All right, then I guess they did rip off Starfire. Sorry,
Quite possibly.
And I guess...
Oh, wait, speaking of
Teen
Starfire,
Titans has just been brought up. Yeah?
Yeah.
As I was saying, since Teen Titans has just been brought up, I guess I'll momentarily bring up that it's going to be a live-action one on TNT.
Oh, yeah, we were talking about that.
Yep, Titans TV. I thought I'd bring up a little information of I know the network it's going to be played on.
Haven't seen it, haven't heard of it, already know it's going to be better than Teen Titans Go.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, it was terrible.
You guys ever see
They never should have turned it into a friggin' sitcom.
It's not even a sitcom. It's...
Well, it was
I don't know what to call it. It's garbage.
I seen, like, one, like, 2-minute clip on a commercial, and all I could think of was, why did they turn it into, like, a 4-year-old's TV show?
Exactly.
It was basically kind of sitcom with just all isolated storylines in each episode.
There's an episode where Beast Boy and Cyborg decide together that for the rest of the day they're not saying anything but the word waffles over and over again.
So basically the entire episode is waffles, waffles, waffles. That's lovely.
With the
don't forget the
characters.
terrible one where Beast Boy and Cyborg stole Raven's spells, duplicating themselves, then just to finally reveal that the original Beast Boy and Cyborg were holed up in an apartment and just obese from just eating nothing but pizza and sitting around playing video games all the time.
God, that show is awful.
I'm so glad I didn't watch any of it.
The original Titans was great, but it ended on such a downer.
Right, didn't it end like... Wasn't it kind of in the middle of a story with like things they never
they
answered?
wrapped. It was just things they never answered. They wrapped up the last story pretty well, but then out of nowhere they bring Tara back, but it's not really Tara, and Beast Boy is
just
alone.
Yeah, it's just like some chick just looks like her. Might have been a reincarnation with no memory. Who knows?
Although technically that wasn't the last hurrah for the Teen Titans, because after the series ended, they did the Trouble in Tokyo movie.
Yeah, I didn't watch that. I was like, I like the show. I'm not gonna watch that because I feel like it might ruin stuff.
I watched it.
Was it any good?
It was.
Yes.
It was nothing memorable, but
I didn't dislike it when I.
It was not bad. Yeah, I would have to agree with that sentiment. I did not dislike it.
All right, so might skip it then.
If I get my cartoon stream started again, I'll show it to you sometime.
All right, cool. Since we are running out of DC stuff, there was one question I slipped into my, I guess you can call it an itinerary. Any Marvel animated universe movies you'd recommend?
There's a Marvel animated universe?
Yeah.
Yeah, and for the most part, they're all ass.
Yep. Since Tim's not here, and
Marvel rules the movies, DC rules the TV.
Yep. Since Tim's not here, he did tell me this though. Because I gave him the questions as well. He said for any Marvel animated universe movies he would recommend, it would be, I believe it was Planet Hulk, which I believe I watched with him at his house. It was interesting. Because Hulk talked. And more than just, Hulk smash!
Yeah.
Which, at a certain point in the comics,
I will admit to some fondness for the series Avengers: Earth's Mightiest Heroes. It had a really good theme song, and I'm afraid that's the most I can remember about it. But it had a really kick-ass theme song. But no, just looking back, even the stuff I watched as a child, like the 90s Spider-Man animated series, it was kind of crap on trying to rewatch it as an adult.
Yeah, there wasn't that much Marvel ever did in any animated universe that was anything resembling good. So I don't know how they failed so badly in that regard. However, when it comes to live action movies, they ruled the roost. Like, how do you?
Well, keep in mind that the live action movie ruling of the roost is a very recent thing.
Oh yeah.
Go back to Marvel's previous movies, the crappy Captain America, Howard the Duck.
I actually like that movie.
They were, well, you're in the minority. You know what? Remember how we gave that other series that I didn't dislike it? I didn't dislike Howard the Duck, but I didn't love it either.
It had its moments.
Yes.
Other than the ones filled with zoophilia.
And duck boobs.
Yep. Actually, I think it was me and my friend Doug were sitting in McDonald's once, and there was this group of people behind us talking, and I heard the Howard the Duck pop up, so I kind of started paying attention, because I was like, okay, you don't hear Howard the Duck being talked about in public that often. And their, like, 5-year-old goes, I can't watch Howard the Duck tonight. And I looked at Doug and I said, did he just say he was going to watch Howard the Duck tonight? Because he's 5. There are duck titties in that movie.
Yeah.
I don't think that's showing a 5-year-old that.
I don't think so either.
And then having to explain to your kid about the birds and the bees because he saw a movie where a duck was trying to have sex with a human.
Well, to be fair, it's the human who's trying to have sex with the duck. She's the one. She's the one macking on him.
Right. It's been a while since I've seen it, but
and well, I suppose along those lines, to be fair, I did watch Who Framed Roger Rabbit quite a few times as a kid. There's plenty of suggestive themes in that.
Well, there isn't blatant.
True.
Duck titties.
No, there's no blatant nudity.
And let's not forget a villain who's pure nightmare fuel in the end.
There is the supposed, quote unquote hidden thing where Jessica Rabbit's not wearing any panties, but
that's one frame.
Yep.
Not like an entire shot of duck boobies.
And I never even learned about that until actually a few years ago when it was all over the internet. And
I know it's not technically animated, but have either of you watched any episodes of the old Adam West Batman show?
All the time when I was a kid.
It was cheesy as hell, but I loved it.
I liked it as a kid, but as I grew older, I hated it.
Oh. I have very fond memories of it, but I'm not sure if I would want to sit down and watch it now. Although I take that back. If I had either a child of my own or was caring for someone else's child and they were looking for something to watch, I would definitely show it to them.
Oh yeah, that'd be great.
And watch it with them.
But just as an adult watching it, it's just so...
cheese factor.
Yeah, you just end up sitting there with your hands in your with your hands in your hands.
You sit there with an eternal facepalm.
Basically, kind of like when I try to watch my own videos.
Yes, I know.
At least the one from when you were 15.
Oh, it was so bad.
Speaking of which, Tyler, do you have any more free advertising for Milkbone to throw out?
No.
Okay. Just checking.
Don't ever bring that up again.
And I'm left confused, but I don't think I should ask for details.
There was a video I made when I was 15 that I put on YouTube years and years ago. And it basically consisted of me sitting in a hoodie with a bandana over my face, talking to people. Because at the time I had figured I was going to make a regular vlog channel, and it kind of fell through. And I hated that video. I'd forgotten all about it for years. And then I found it again, and it's terrible. Actually, worse than terrible. I removed it from you. Well, actually, I just made it private. Because if I ever want to show someone, because I want them to see how stupid I was.
Because he wants to be ridiculed for the rest of his life.
Yeah.
And
okay, because for some reason I thought you got drunk and ate a milk bone or something.
No.
No, he was giving Butch a milk bone, and he's like, "Milk bone, motherfucker! That's right. Free advertising for milk bone."
It got to the point where I was gonna screen share it, and then I was like, you know what? No, I can't watch this. Have the link. Because
I love
just can't
it.
deal with it.
And yes, I'm aware I have a lunatic laugh. It's
And
been
then,
called mad scientist laugh, crazy laugh, etc., etc.
I had actually filmed a sequel to that video about 6 months later, and I was showing them it, and it got to the point where I just turned off the sound and was like, we're just gonna watch the video because I can't deal with this because I only had it on a flash drive.
Yes, getting back on topic, I loved the X-Men cartoon when I was little, but then trying to rewatch it as an adult, I couldn't get through the first few episodes.
I haven't tried rewatching that.
It's just so flat. The characters are just, what's the word? Cutouts, archetypes.
I was gonna say two-dimensional, but that works too.
Jubilee is obnoxious and annoying.
Oh yeah. The only character I liked really, even as I started getting older, was I didn't even like Wolverine that much. Gambit.
Gambit was awesome.
Oh yeah.
He's my my absolute favorite character from that show. Still probably is. I mean, because of him, I bought his own comics that he had. I don't know how long they went on, but I have at least issue 1 of 4. So,
And I guess while we're on talking about X-Men, there's a little more information out about the Deadpool movie.
oh, is there?
It will feature the mutants Colossus and one named Angel Dust, which I know nothing about.
Yeah, I don't know the name.
Never heard of Angel Dust.
Yeah, might be a new one.
Yay for characters created specifically for a movie. Because
Yes.
those don't ever turn out terribly. Speaking of, well, actually, here's a good question.
They need to bring back Snowflame. Snowflame feels no pain.
So,
Yes,
Tyler,
so-
since you brought up that that never ends terribly, any dishonorable mentions?
No, but I can think of one character that shouldn't have been brought into a movie recently.
Who was that?
Bane.
Oh, yeah.
Dark Knight Rises.
What the hell happened to Bane? Where was his venom?
Yeah, that was the big thing.
Big thing.
That was the big thing I disliked, was he had no venom for no reason. He had some kind of gas that it pumped in, and it just...
And he had the face hugger instead of a luchador mask.
I refer to it as a thong. I refer to it as the face thong.
Yes.
It was just so bad. Like, he went from this big, awesome luchador to some Middle Eastern eco-terrorist.
Confession, I passed on that movie, and I passed on that movie entirely. I never saw it.
I did too,
I
and
only
then
saw
my
it.
girlfriend bought it for me
I
for
think that's
Christmas.
all I do.
And that was the only reason why I watched it, was because my girlfriend bought it for me, and I was like,
Totally understandable.
I'll at least watch it once, and then I didn't watch it again. It was the same thing with Transformers 3. I bought it because I was like, I haven't seen it, I'll watch it, and then right in the middle of the movie, I just turned it off and said, fuck this movie. I just couldn't deal with it. But how do you guys feel the DC animated universe measures up to the DC cinematic universe?
Give me the cartoons any day of the week.
Yeah.
Can you name a good DC movie?
Dark Knight.
Okay, well good point. Dark Knight. And
you only said I have to name
almost
one. I named one.
Most of the Batman movies, but other than that, Green Lantern. Ugh.
The original first Superman movie.
Yeah. Are you guys looking forward to the new Benedict Cumberbatch's Doctor Strange movie?
Honestly, Green Lantern could have been better, but they would have had to not rely on CGI so much.
Why did they make his suit CGI?
I know,
not
they
just the
easily
suit,
have made...
his mask as well.
Yeah.
That was a stupid
and the mask just appears when it's properly needed.
Oh god, it was so bad. I hated it. I seen it once and I was like, you know, Ryan Reynolds could work for this role, but
Yeah.
you fucked everything else up, so congratulations.
Yeah, like I said, it could have worked if it weren't for such heavy relying on CGI.
I feel like the movie itself was just
Like, obviously, you need CGI for...
the constructs.
for the constructs, but so much could have been done with...
Oh yeah. I mean, like, once he goes to Oa, it's literally, what's his name? Ryan Reynolds basically in front of a green screen for like 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They were too lazy to build a set. Whatever happened to sets? Seriously.
They became obsolete for some reason, even though they look better.
Fuck that. Bring him back.
Okay, here's a question for you. DC or Marvel, either one, storylines that you think would translate well into an animated movie.
Into an animated movie?
Yes. Animated or live action.
Martian Manhunter's cookie addiction.
Hell yes.
That's not a
Animate that
storyline.
shit.
Well, it was a very minor one, but there's one specific one I was thinking of for Martian Manhunter, but I haven't read it. I've read through the wiki about it.
Gotcha.
Because I've been trying to collect it. The one about his brother, though, that's an interesting story.
I can't help it. I know he's stupid and obnoxious and a bit part character at most, but I would like to see a Superman movie with Bizarro. And I would like to see Bizarro played by the same actor that plays Superman.
That would be amazing. Oh, speaking of Bizarro, he actually has his own comic starting in June.
Nice.
Straight up called Bizarro.
Bizarro, I love you. Bizarro, I love you.
I wonder if it's going to read right to left instead of left to right. Because everything is opposite in Bizarro World, right?
Yeah, but that's the thing is, if the comic does poorly, they'll keep making it because low sales are a success to Bizarro.
That'd be terrible.
Bat
Speaking of
Bizarro.
live action movies, how do you guys feel about Ben Affleck in the Batman vs Superman movie?
Well, there's a lot of just instant hate for Ben Affleck in the role, but
I'm gonna
in
give
honesty,
Jets-
he's a good actor. He could
He
do well in
is.
it.
The problems with Daredevil were not Ben Affleck's
Yeah.
fault.
No.
Ben
I thought he
Affleck
did pretty
performed.
good.
Ben Affleck performed pretty damn well in Daredevil,
Oh yeah.
given the material he had to work with anyway.
Yeah, the movie was terrible. However, his acting was pretty good. Actually, it's Kevin Smith's movie that receives the most hate. But
And well, bringing up Kevin Smith, go ahead and quote Kevin Smith to give Ben Affleck some props here. Affleck, you the bomb in Phantoms, yo.
this is actually the last thing. Other than, is there any DC Animated Universe show or movie that you would like to recommend to our currently semi-existent viewers?
Well, I've already brought it up before a couple times. Bring it up again. Go watch Justice League Doom.
Yeah, that's a good one. I other than my little complaint about changing a villain, I liked it. And as for me, I mentioned my favorite was probably the DC show. It was called DC Showcase Superman Shazam, I believe. And like I said before, it's actually a collection of 3 short stories. And I remembered what the last short story was. A really cool little Green Arrow clip. Green Arrow bit.
All right, and I can
What he
actually
says-
preempt this. Tyler wants you to get off your ass and go watch Under the Red Hood.
How did you know?
If you haven't seen Under the Red Hood, what is wrong with you?
I know, it's so
No
good.
offense intended to people who haven't actually seen it.
Yeah, no offense, but you're horrible people. Kidding.
If you didn't know it existed, you're not horrible. However, if you didn't immediately
You're just
go
misinformed.
watch it, you're now a horrible person. So please go fix that. But I'm still trying to remember the name of the movie that everyone hated from Kevin Smith with Ben Affleck and the daughter.
Jersey Girl.
That one. I love that movie. Go watch that too.
Again?
Yeah, I like that movie.
Yeah, if we're gonna promote Kevin Smith,
Go watch all
just
his
watch the Viewist. Just watch everything in the Viewist universe line, which basically is all the movies with Jay and Silent Bob in it.
Do I really have to watch Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back again? I'll watch all the others, but I really don't want to see Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back again. Here's my question for the day: has it ever worked out and created a good show or movie when they take a comic relief background sidekick character and made them the spotlight? Anybody watch Planet Sheen recently? I didn't think so.
Jimmy Neutron reference. I was thinking about that earlier. It's one of the few good shows that worked in CG.
Yep. But then Planet Sheen came along, where they took the stupid idiot character and made him the central spotlight.
I always wanted to watch it, but just the premise, and I was like, I like Sheen, but he's good in small doses, not 20
He's good in
doses.
small doses. I believe the same about Jay and Silent Bob.
Good in small doses, not big ones. Mainly because
Right.
it's just Jay. Just babbling.
And still sticking with the topic of Kevin Smith, upcoming Clerks 3, which
Yes.
will, from what I understand, see Randall getting a love interest.
Which will be interesting.
He doesn't deserve a love interest.
Not after the things he said in the second movie. But
It's cool. I'm taking it back.
You guys see Clerks, the animated series?
Nope.
Oh, I have.
You should.
Is it safe?
Who is
Based on that
driving?
reaction.
Bear
I
is
think I
driving.
need
How
to-
can this be?
Alright, but we're out of time for today. So this has been the 3rd episode of the Nerdflash podcast. Good night
Thank
from
you
Xavier,
very much.
Usopp.
Thank you very
How?
much. For
I
tuning
told
in.
you before, do not say goodnight for me.
I was about to say any last words. And this is where you'd say goodnight. And
Yes,
anything
well,
else?
good night, everybody.
Good
I
night,
was an asshole.
Also,
Whatever you.
because I wrote this in. If you ever want a paid advertisement or for me to review something, I am not above whoring myself out. Just check my
If you
Twitter
see,
feed.
check his Twitter feed. You'll see it. You'll see the evidence.
Also, don't forget to check out Orwa, Usopp, and Xavier's channels out. They're
Yes.
awesome dudes that make great videos. And they
And
deserve
another
many more
final note
subscribers
is
than they
in
currently
the
have.
next episode of the podcast, I'm going to be presenting the information of when our first drinking game podcast is going to be. I want to run it by Tyler, but I am positive he is going to agree with the timing for it.
Probably. Alright, so, thanks, guys. It was great having you.
Have a good
Usopp.
one.
Yep, thanks for being here.